It's happening in Carolina, and if you listen closely, you can feel it. A quiet shift in the backfield, a new heartbeat starting to take over the rhythm of this offense. For months, the Panthers' running back situation has felt like a tug-of-war between loyalty and performance, between Chuba Hubbard, the steady veteran who fought his way through injuries to earn his spot, and Rico Dowdle, the underdog who runs like every carry could be his last. And now, that question every Panthers fan has been whispering is echoing louder than ever: has Dave Canales finally chosen his RB1? The head coach didn't come out and crown anyone outright in Monday's press conference, but his words told a story of their own. When he spoke about Chuba, it was with respect, almost nostalgia. He's meant a lot to this organization, he said. But when he spoke about Rico, there was energy in his voice. Passion. Words like tempo and violence. Words you use for a man who's about to lead your offense into battle. And let's be honest, that's what this feels like. A changing of the guard. Rico hasn't just taken carries. He's taken momentum. Every run feels like a statement, a spark, a shot of adrenaline through a team searching for identity. The way he bursts through contact, the way he finishes runs, it's like he's trying to drag Carolina forward with him. It's heartbreaking for Chuba, though. No athlete wants to lose their spot to injury. You train, you sacrifice, you earn your stripes, and then one unlucky moment leaves the door open for someone else to take everything you fought for. Every player knows that fear. But the truth is, the NFL doesn't wait. It rewards whoever shines right now. And right now, Rico Dowdle is shining. Chuba understands that too. He's a pro. He said it himself, whether it's a 70-30 split or 100% Rico's show, all that matters is winning football games. That's the mentality you need to survive in this league. Pride can't come before the team. And yet, you can't help but feel the weight of it. The Panthers are evolving right before our eyes, and for the first time this season, their backfield finally feels alive. If Dave Canales pulls the trigger and makes it official, it could be the move that redefines Carolina's offense. Rico's speed, his explosion, his edge, it's exactly what this team has been missing. And maybe, just maybe, this is where the new chapter of Panthers football begins. Because sometimes, the future doesn't knock softly, it runs right through the line and refuses to be denied. The truth is, Rico Dowdle isn't just playing well, he's forcing change. It's not hype. It's not overreaction. It's real. Defenses know who he is. They've studied him. They've seen the Dallas tape. They know exactly what's coming, and still, they can't stop him. That's what makes this run so different. It's not about surprise anymore, it's about will. But even as the Panthers finally find balance in the backfield, there's a bigger storm hovering over this team, one name that controls the entire heartbeat of this offense: Bryce Young. And right now, Carolina is holding its breath. Last week was rough. Andy Dalton did everything he could, but it was like trying to start a fire with wet wood, nothing sparked. Drive stalled. The energy felt flat. The crowd, restless. The locker room, quiet. It wasn't just another bad offensive day, it was a reminder of how fragile momentum can be when your young quarterback isn't under center. So now the question hangs in the air: when is Bryce coming back? Coach Canales tried to stay calm during his presser. He said Bryce is improving, better every day, running well, hoping to move him around Wednesday. It all sounds encouraging. But if you listen closely, you can hear the uncertainty between the lines. This team needs their leader back, not just for the playbook, but for their belief. And if you're a Panthers fan, you feel that desperation. You want to shout the same thing the locker room is probably whispering: Bryce, if you're 100%, please come back. If you're 90%, maybe even 80%, we need you. Because this team looks different with him. When Bryce and Rico share the field, it's not just about stats, it's about rhythm. They read each other. Rico's patience complements Bryce's timing. The offense breathes smoother. The ball moves with purpose. The chains move, and hope moves with them. It wasn't perfect, no. Carolina still left points on the field. But you could see something real beginning to form, a foundation, a chemistry, an identity. And when Bryce went down, all of that momentum vanished like smoke. Fans even started asking about Hendon Hooker, why not give the kid a shot? When the offense flatlined, it felt like the moment to experiment, to see the future for a few snaps. But the coaches stayed the course, even as the frustration grew louder. Now, everything comes down to one question that could define the next month of Panthers football: will Bryce Young take the field this Sunday? Because if he does, if he's truly ready, this offense could start moving again. The play-action game, the rhythm, the confidence, all of it begins with number 9. And if he doesn't? Then Carolina will once again walk that uneasy line between patience and pain, waiting, watching, and wondering how much longer their spark can stay lit without their quarterback at the helm. The Panthers are standing on a knife's edge. One healthy Sunday from Bryce Young could pull them back into belief, or one more week without him could push them deeper into frustration. Either way, the future of this offense hangs in the balance. Every team has a breaking point. And on Sunday, Carolina's defense stood right at the edge of theirs. From the first snap, you could feel something was off. The hits weren't landing the same. The tackles weren't clean. And James Cook, the man who turned 5-yard gains into heartbreak, exposed something deeper than just missed assignments. He exposed the fatigue of a defense carrying too much, for too long. You could see it in the first few drives. 2 plays, 10 yards, first down. Over and over again. Cook wasn't even getting touched until he was already halfway through the line of scrimmage. That's not about effort, that's about timing, about chemistry, about the kind of sharpness that starts to dull when your offense keeps giving the ball back. Because here's the truth, it's hard to keep your edge when you're defending short fields every other drive. It's hard to stay locked in when your quarterback throws a pick and suddenly you're lining up at your own 1-yard line. It's hard not to break when fumbles erase your hard work before you've even caught your breath. But still, they fought. For one half, they fought like hell. The defense played with heart, even as the scoreboard turned against them. Players like Nick Scorton and Ashawn Robinson still brought flashes of pride, like that incredible sack on Josh Allen. And that wasn't just another tackle, it was the first sack anyone had landed on Josh Allen during a scramble all season. The first one. From the Panthers. Moments like that matter, because they remind you what this team can be when everything clicks. That's the version of the Panthers defense fans remember from earlier weeks, the one that made teams abandon the run, that forced quarterbacks into predictable passing downs, that turned every 2nd and 10 into a chess match. When Carolina's front line was setting the tone, opponents didn't want to test them on the ground. But that edge, it slipped. And the players know it. After the game, linebacker Christian Roseboom spoke with the calm honesty of a man who's been through battles. He said they'd go back to the tape, fix the little things, tackling, angles, gap integrity, all the details that separate good defenses from great ones. And you could tell he meant it. You could feel it in his tone. This wasn't defeat. It was accountability. That's what makes this next stretch so critical. Because now they face Green Bay, and the Packers aren't coming in gentle. They've got speed, balance, and a quarterback who can extend plays until you lose your discipline. If Carolina doesn't rediscover that early season run defense, the kind that forced teams into panic, it could be another long Sunday. Still, there's hope. Because even through the missed tackles and the frustration, this defense hasn't lost its identity. It's bruised, not broken. It's frustrated, not finished. And for a fanbase that's lived through heartbreak after heartbreak, that's all you can ask for, a team that still shows fight. Carolina's wall cracked in Buffalo. But cracks can be mended. And if this group can find that same energy that once made offenses fear them, then maybe, just maybe, that wall can still stand tall again. Because in Carolina, defense isn't just a unit. It's a promise, and it's one they're not ready to break. Something about that game felt off. You could see it. You could feel it. The rhythm, the effort, the energy, it just didn't look like Carolina football. Even the broadcast told a strange story. The commentators, men who had once worn the same uniform, sounded rehearsed, almost like they were reading from a script written somewhere far above the field. Every word seemed to praise Buffalo, to build them up as if the Panthers didn't even belong on the same field. And that's when the whispers started. Could this game have been rigged? Now, nobody wants to believe that. Nobody wants to think the sport we love, the team we bleed for, could ever be manipulated like that. But it's hard not to think about it when you've watched what Panthers fans have lived through these past 5 years: heartbreak, rebuilds, injuries, coaching chaos, and somehow still showing up every single Sunday. So when a veteran like Andy Dalton, a man with over a decade in the league, top 25 in passing yards and touchdowns, plays like he's never held a football before, it raises questions. This is a guy who's seen every kind of defense, every kind of pressure. But on that day, it was as if someone had flipped a switch. Every read was late. Every throw looked off. Every decision, wrong. Some fans called it sabotage. Some said it looked like a setup. Others just called it pain, the kind Carolina can't seem to escape. But here's the hard truth: whether or not anything was fixed, the feeling of betrayal was real. Because when you love this game, when you give it your voice, your weekends, your hope, and you watch your team play like that, it feels like someone stole something from you. Nobody knows what really happened that day. Maybe Dalton was just off. Maybe it was just one of those games where nothing clicks. But for a fanbase that's been through hell and back, even the idea that something darker could have been behind it is enough to make your blood boil. Carolina didn't just lose that game, they lost a little more faith in the system that's supposed to keep football pure. And if there's one thing Panthers fans have left, it's faith. Faith that no matter how broken things look, they'll rise again. Because this fanbase has been lied to before. But they've never stopped believing. Not once. Not ever. Keep pounding.